Foster Car Finance, proud sponsors of the How Are We Famalam podcast. Haha, it's right, lad.
Hello and welcome back to the How Are We Famalam podcast with me, John May. And my co-host, Jazza Dickens. How are we, Famalam?
How are we, Famalam?
How are we? So today, we've got the lovely Tina Malone. How are we?
I'm okay.
How are we, Famalam?
How are we, Famalam?
I'm fine, Famalam.
It's right, Famalam.
Whatever that means. I'll go with the flow.
It's going to catch on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see t-shirts with it on. So, Tina, thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
You look great, by the way.
Nice to be here. I don't feel it. I feel I've got that lockdown stone.
Corona belly.
Yeah, Corona my arse and everything. Do you know what I mean? Corona the lot.
I don't mind it, me. Like something to...
Oh, no, and that's what my husband says. He said you were starting to look gaunt. But when you go to your husband, God, I haven't half put weight on, babe. And they go, I know.
Yeah, I'm starting
Not the right thing to say.
I was going to say something.
Yeah, not the right thing to say.
Imagine that. Well, I'm glad you said it.
Yeah. So I'm on the couch for the next few days.
Oh, behave, you look great. But I know what you mean. I think when you get so lean, and then, because that's what happened with me, I lost 5 stone, 7 stone.
Yeah.
So, like, I've got a bit of a belly on me now. But even when I'm looking reasonably all right, because I'm used to being so lean, like, it'd be the same with you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You feel.
Yeah.
But to me, you look.
Well, it's like I always say, when I was enormous, big fat bird, which, I was the comedy Scouse funny fat bird for years. But when you're enormous, it's kind of like you go, oh, what's another stone? Who cares? I'm enormous anyway, I can't move.
Yeah.
So, but when you get to 7 stone 12 and size 6, you kind of don't want to go above that.
No.
So now I'm in a tight 8'10", and then I'm kind of getting a bit...
You feel you let yourself down, don't you?
Exactly.
You hate yourself.
Yeah, and it's funny that, it's... I was 18 years enormous, and, a lot of the time, I guess I traded on it, so me shrink says... But,
traded on it?
Well, yeah, when I started acting, you have to imagine 35 years ago, the highest paid actresses in our country and the most popular were like Pauline Quirk, and Kathy Burke and Dawn French.
Yeah.
They were kind of like my peers, Caroline Quentin, and they were all big birds.
This is dead interesting.
So, everything I went for in the first 10 years of my life in London, whether it was an Utterly Butterly ad or a film with Danny Boyle, everything I went for said Fat Bird stroke, Dawn French, Roseanne Barr type.
Yeah.
So my kind of aspirations were all kind of giving me, if you like, well, go ahead and eat more, plus the fact I'm OCD and OCP. So whether it's sex, work, drink, drugs, whatever, I overdo.
Yeah.
Everything to excess.
Yeah.
And
I can totally relate to what you just said, because it's like when I first started acting, like I was a little bit over, I weren't fucking Brad Pitt, put it that way. And I said to the agent, what do I need to do? Do I need to get into shape? She went, stay exactly how you are. And I was getting work. I was the funny fat man. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm going to ask you about that. Like, because that I didn't like that. Like you said, you recognised me off an advert where I was dancing.
Yeah.
I literally felt like I sold my soul on that.
But why? Because if you were...
Because I felt like I was in it. I was a joke.
Be funny, but do you have to just go hand in hand the funny?
But it's like my students. I tell them all, whether you're tall, short, thin, fat, black, white, green, blue, whatever you are, whatever gender you are, whatever, anything at all, capitalise or whatever,
yes.
Whether you can knit or ice skate, everything's another string to your bow.
You say that about turning up the Scouse, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, I rev it up a little, and I bet you do as well. So when I first started acting, people went, well, you need to lower that fucking Scouse down. Yeah. No, that's my fucking strength. Yeah. So if I go to a casting, I do rev it up a little bit.
Who's Kenny?
Yeah. But in the same vein, I go for a lot of castings because the first 10 years of my career, apart from 5 years in Brookside, I did period dramas. And people go to me now, oh my God, were you in Henry VIII? Oh my God, were you in Tough Love or whatever? Because I did a lot of period stuff and was non-Liverpool. So it's only when you play something as iconic as, say, Mimi for 10 years, then people forget that you can do, and it's like now when I go for castings and they say, can you, and I go, does it say on my CV I can do North and South American or, you know, Dutch or, you know, Geordie or London or Irish or whatever? Well, then yes, I can. You know, I don't permanently walk around like that.
No, but wouldn't you agree that's your strength, though?
No.
No, well, being you, I suppose being you.
That was an amazing part.
I think it's what it is I mean, I can be on the phone to the gas board or to anyone, the bank, and they go, can I ask, are you...
Really?
On the phone. I can be in a shop in heavily disguised in every way. I don't mean nose and moustache, you know what I mean? And I can be
Seen him loads, this is a man.
quietly at the till, and someone will recognise my voice. But I think it's the tone of your voice, and your voice becomes so recognisable because, you know, I used to do a lot of voiceovers as well years ago. Not that I've been asked to do Moxies because I can't see me going, and this is deep fried
It might work.
on a better rocky.
No, but get on this. Get on this. So when I lost all that weight, I sent the pictures to the agent. And so she sold me as the funny fat man for fucking years. So when I saw, and I know she was a bit, fuck. Yeah. He's lost the weight. And I tell you something, mate, when I lost all that weight, I got far less work. Because you become like everybody else. Let me tell you the story. When I started acting, right, I remember this fella in the barber shop, and he's sitting in his chair, and I'm cutting his hair, and he goes, fucking actor. And I went, yeah. And he went, you want to be an actor? Someone must have told him. And I went, yeah. And he went, well, you're not exactly fucking Brad Pitt, are you? And I thought, you cheeky fucker. Anyway, a couple of years later, he seen me and he was like, sorry, lads, what's wrong with you? Yeah, but you've got to remember, the people that envisage, if you look at Brad Pitt in California, he's got the one tooth and he's like limping, and because every day now, we don't have, when you go to LA, the girls aren't all round. The girls that are on the, you know, the roller skates with the, you know, the big boobs and the tiny waists and the tray of martinis are the ones who are looking for work because every other bird's a blonde pretty This is
girl.
it.
Whereas if you stand out because you've got a huge nose or you've got dodgy hair or you're fat or you're particularly thin, you then are different.
Yes.
And our kind of industry embraces people.
The 1 in 10.
Well, if you look at, unless you're reading the news, you look at television, right? And you look at adverts right through to dramas. Is everybody beautiful in Call the Midwife?
No.
Is everybody beautiful?
Beautiful people at 10 a penny.
It's exactly. Yeah. Because everybody's it's like now, girls, I get offered every day. I mean, it's well known, documented, this, you know, the surgery I've had. But I get offered every day to have my lips done. Well, I'm not being mean, but I don't want to look like that.
Yeah.
On every photo. I'm not interested in having lips that look like, you know, I'm going to blow an exhaust. Yeah. It's just not, you know, it's everybody, especially these days, you know, becomes clones of themselves.
Now you're saying I've got spiritual beliefs different to most fighters, but I get a lot of content through that. I think, I get asked to do a lot of content through that, but now realising I'm not spiritually, I think the same as a lot of fighters, you know what I mean? Every fighter's the same, man. They got the nose, they got the ears.
Yeah.
But the spiritual beliefs are a little bit different, so it makes sense, that to me.
So it's like intellect. I mean, going on to the boxing, you've got the right beard, and if you like, I'm a very long-term, very close friend of Frank Warren's. Yeah. So for many years. So, I mean, you can ask anyone from Amir Khan to Ricky Hatton to David Hay to Paul Smith, Liam Smith, the dad, to Tony Bellew. Every boxer knows me and my God, because when I say ringside, I've sat ringside with Oscar La Hoya behind me, with Barrera behind me. That's how ringside I am. You know the way you get the spray and the spit and the blood, they get mine. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm well known for Paul Smith and Ricky Hatton saying I could hear your voice. I've known Tyson, Eubank, all the boxers, Lennox, Ben, for years. And where it comes from was my father was a big boxing fan, God rest his soul. And he used to take me as a child.
Did he?
So I loved the boxing. I saw Ben fight and Alan Minter. And so I used to love the boxing.
Wow.
And now, obviously, I'm privileged enough to be ringside VIP. I've been in a room where Mike Tyson's gone, in a green room where Mike Tyson's gone to people. Who is she? Because they're all asking for a photo. Who is she? They're all asking for photos of her. And,
Asking for photos?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I've know everyone from DeGale to all of them.
What was the first fight you went to with your dad? Did you go to the stadium, or do you ever remember where you used to go?
I think, I went to Sheffield years ago to see Lennox. But I've been all over. I've been to, you know, with Frank, to London, to Birmingham, to Liverpool, to Manchester, everywhere.
Wow.
Everywhere. I'm well known in the boxing.
Did you get to know Frank off your own back, or
Yes.
did you get introduced? Did you get to once you become celebrities, those things? Is that how you got to know Frank? Was it?
We met at an event at a celeb do, the way you do,
Yeah.
and became friends, and so yeah, that's how.
I feel like it's getting carried away with you because your stories and stuff like that. Where did it
But
start?
I know I mean, you know, even the likes of Frankie Gavin, Paul Smith, and you know, and all those, you know, and Nathan Cleaveley and all. I've gone to kind of big fights and smaller fights. I've gone
She knows
to,
more than you.
Amazing.
I've
Huh?
gone to fights all over the country, and I love the boxing. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
And yeah, so I know most of the boxers around.
Amazing.
So,
Have you never had a little go yourself? Hisses?
no, no, I'm too pretty.
What are you
I
like in the
like
corner? We're looking for a corner.
No, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know, I've always played characters that are like that, but no, big streak of yellow up my back. No, I do like the. I like the UFC as well. My husband likes the UFC more. I can be a bit, but I know them all, and watching the Contender and, you know,
Yeah, it
for
was
the early
amazing,
days.
wasn't
But
it?
my
Yeah.
dad
The
was.
Contender.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I
I
was
used to love
obsessed.
it.
I've got
Loved
everything
it.
on book set, but it's like my father kind of showed me Rocky Marciano to George Foreman, Frazier, you know, and Ali and all those, and Joe Louis and all those years ago.
Did you have brothers?
No brother. Yeah, one brother. Yeah, younger brother. But no, he was football more than.
So you do the boxing? That's amazing, that, isn't it?
Boss.
Yeah. I love it. It's one of my it's one of my key things.
You'd never think that, would you? You'd never-
Always.
You're just reeling them names off then. I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, I'm thinking of these people.
You don't know
I'm
Thriller
only
and
messing.
Vanilla and
I'm only
Rumble
joking.
in the Jungle and all that. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of gutted that I never saw like the likes of Holyfield and Sugar Ray and you know, and all those, Tyson. I never saw them fight live. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
What
But it
age
always-
was you? Agla Minter, maybe? Was you?
I started watching boxing from about the age of 10. And I'm 58. So,
80s? Maybe?
yeah, no, 70s.
70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Tina, I first saw you on the telly as Mo in Brookside.
Can you believe I left Brookside 28 years ago?
Really?
I did 5 years, yeah.
That was a boss character, that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I do feel, and Phil Redmond brought me in and wrote the character, which was, you know, privilege, but I was the fat, funny Scouse bird, but never really fully used to my extent, because I think in the late 80s, early 90s, before the likes of Lisa Riley and people like that, they were a bit frightened of using, although you go any nightclub, any restaurant, there's always a fat, funny Scouse
Yeah,
bird,
yeah.
isn't there? You know.
What, you were scared of us looking as
guess-
exploiting?
No, I just think, Phil, there was so much going on with the Jordashes and everything when I was there. But I also think that in those days, now we're very politically correct, aren't we? But I mean, you know, it's like anything. You know, the fat bird works harder to get a fella. You know, the old jokes, how'd you get a fat bird? It's a bad piece of cake. You know, you know, and all those, do you know what I mean? But I think I was one of those fat birds that knew I was a fat bird. But what I had in abundance was through the love of my father. I was, you know, I spent kind of probably 10, 15 years being a fat bird, going to young pretty men or big kind of scarred bouncers. You probably got more chance with me pretty mate, because I ain't going to do you no favours. Do you think I'm well, it's either a kebab or a flatbread, 10 to 2. You think I'm going to be grateful? No, I'd be doing you a favour. You'd be crying for your mum. And I'm far too arrogant, as fat as I am, and I'm not the best looking bird in the club, but I ain't waiting for someone at 10 to 2 to take me up an alley. So I think because I was always quite arrogant, that in a way attracted
made you attractive, yeah? Yeah.
Because they were like, you know, and I was like, do you think I'm going to be the one on my knees?
Yeah, I get that.
Not a chance.
It makes you more desirable.
Not a chance.
You're a challenge.
Yeah, I'd be exactly. So that's why, I went out with a lot of men from all kind of walks of life who were kind of big, strong, powerful men, predominantly, from poets to plumbers to gangsters to, actors, do you know what I mean? And so I never lost the weight for those purposes. I lost the weight for me.
I get that.
And I lost the weight because I wanted another baby later in life. And I lost the weight because I was fed up for me looking in the mirror and being fat and ugly. And I was fat and ugly. And people go, you were beautiful then and you...
It's all right them saying that though, isn't it?
They haven't got to get into bed with me.
Oh, you look fine. You look fine.
And,
whatever.
And I didn't want to be a pig in a frock when I got married. And it was just simply as that.
The people watching, for context, how much weight did you lose and how long?
I was the size, and people kind of lie about what they were. I was 19 stone 6 and I'm 5 foot. And I was a size 32 in Shameless when I began. I fluctuated from the age of 28 to 38 between a size 20 to 32 at my biggest. And why was I fat? Because I was a greedy pig. And if you're fat, it's because you overeat and you don't. I was never lazy. I've walked all my life. I've worked hard all my life. I only sleep 4 hours. So it's nothing to do with being a lazy person. That pisses me off when I hear people say, oh, try moving a bit. You couldn't move any more than me. I don't stop moving. Never have done. It was because I ate in abundance. And also then people insult fat people by saying, oh, well, try healthy living, healthy options. I'm not being funny. Do you think we're all thick because we're fat? I know what a cream cake is and a piece of broccoli. Do you know what I mean? But I just ate in abundance. And it's that simple. If you're an alcoholic, it's because you drink for whatever reason takes you there. Now, I had a lot of psychology, a lot of, therapy. Whatever reason takes you to the place where you overeat or you're promiscuous or you do drink or drugs, it is another thing. But, you can't blame yourself, but nobody puts that in your mouth. So I could abstain from cigarettes and give them up, work at it. I'm 23 years sober, 10 years drug-free. If you can get rid of those, and I'm an all or nothing type of person, whereas with food, you have to eat to live. So I can't moderate. It's not in my vocab. So eating was, if I can't have one crisp, I want 6 packets.
Sure.
I can't have a little bite of chocolate. I want the family bar to myself. So, I had the gastric band and lost 12 stone 4 pounds and went from a size 32 to a size 6. And that's what I've done.
Wait, a 32 to a 6?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
And also, I don't know whether you're aware anyway, but, and then afterwards, which if you go online, you can look, I got the Sky documentaries after This Morning followed me with my IVF and all that stuff. And I had operations. I had to have my arms cut from there to there. I didn't have bingo wings. I had a cape. And the skin on my stomach is online everywhere. I got it out on This Morning. So if you look at my stomach, I was cut. I couldn't have a tummy tuck with the skin. They had to cut me from the breastbone right the way down and across. So I had what's called the fleur-de-lis. So if you look.
Right, okay.
So they had to cut me there and right across because I had on my thighs and my boobs and everywhere, I had that much skin. My neck, my eyes, my neck, I looked like a turkey. My neck was like that. So I had a full facelift. I had everything. 9 major operations, all over 3.5 hours long, over 16 months. Followed by
That's quite extreme.
And no painkillers. Yeah, it was extreme. It was life-threatening. I handpicked my Brazilian, Italian and Spanish surgeons, and I had it all done in England, and it was 180 grand's worth of surgery. Sky TLC followed it, Tina Malone, pregnant at 50 before that, and my daughter was 18 months old when I went in for all the Tina Malone My Perfect Body. So you can get it online, you can go on, and it went all over the world, and they both got nominated for RTS awards. That's another story. Every job I've ever done has won awards, even if I've had 2 lines in it. Every job I've picked has won awards, as I have myself. But anyway, yeah. So it was a personal and emotional journey, but I also cashed in because, like you were saying, that's what I had to do. So, the same as my IVF, I was in Shameless, having a wonderful time, being actor number 2, blah, 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 worked my way up, and, alongside the incredible David Threlfall, and I had to kind of come into Shameless in series 2, following the likes of Maxine Peake and Dean Lennox-Kelly, and, it was a lot to live up to, to create the Maguires, me and Sean and the rest of them. And then I kind of was at, I was living the life. I had money, I had the most incredible house in Alderley Edge, I had everything. And I was getting offered the Jungles, Celebrity Big Brother, and everything was thrown at me everywhere. People were begging for me. I did This Morning and Loose Women and Celebrity Come Dine With Me, and every programme affected me. And I just felt fat and ugly. So I went to see a surgeon on the day of my 49th birthday in Rodney Street, Liverpool, bearing in mind I'd lived in Manchester then for 10 years. And I went to see a surgeon, and I said to him, fertility man, who's still there, 65 Rodney Street, at Crown IVF, Abbey Fertility, after going to the women's, and they said, you're too old, you can't have IVF. I went to see this surgeon, I was 49, and I went, listen, I want a baby, and it's illegal in this country for you to give me IVF. I believe you go abroad to Spain, Cyprus, and America. I've just got married, and my husband is 20 years older than me, and I want a child. And the surgeon looked at me, Dr. Ghazvani from the Women's, who has his own private practice in Rodney Street, and he said, I'm going to tell you straight. You are morbidly and clinically obese. You work an 80-hour week in television, so that's stressful. Yep. You smoke, and you're unfit and unhealthy. So, it's not advisable, even though I've done women of 58.
You're not having this.
And I went, okay. I went back on the day of my 50th birthday, a year to the date. I'm a bit OCD about dates as well, by the way. Went back on my 50th birthday, and I went to him. There's the envelope. I've handed my notice in to a 250 grand a year job. I've almost closed the show. I want a baby. I've lost 12 stone. I've given up smoking, test my hair for nicotine 10 months ago. And I am now free, single, I've got money, I'm married to my husband, but I'm free of work, free of everything. I want IVF. And he was like, oh my God. And I went, yeah, because when I want something, I'm going to do it. So literally 6 weeks later, I was pregnant in Cyprus.
Really?
And I had Flame, who was born healthy, beautiful. And so now I've got a 6-year-old and a 40-year-old this year. Wow. And because I don't do anything by halves, and I believe if you want something, you can get it. Nobody will ever tell me no. Obviously, I can't be 5'8". There's certain things in life you can't be. But if I say, and then after I had Flame and everything was perfect and beautiful and wonderful, and This Morning came on and followed her IVF morning, that was great story. I inspired 28 women from my journey to go and have IVF.
The same process.
Over 45 years of age. And whilst doing that, I went to speak to Nadine Dorries in the House of Commons about the demographic and IVF and being available to people. I did a documentary about that. And, it opened up all the worlds to me about the rights and wrongs of, it's a lottery, fertility. And I've spoken to many people, and when I got pregnant at 50, it was the likes of Simon Cowell and Peter Stringfellow and the older men who wrote to me and said, congratulations, well done, girl, and Philip Schofield and people. Mostly men. who supported what I did. Because if you were 70 and a rock star, you can have 8 kids, can't you, to a young Brazilian model?
Yeah.
But I was a 50-year-old woman. So I proved I was fit and healthy. I carried her myself. I gave birth myself. And I did it all. And 2 days later, left the women's hospital with a beautiful new baby. Then decided I am now going to get all these jobs done. And they filmed it. You can go online and see them cutting me open. Yeah. Everything. We did the documentary of me giving birth. Then we did Tina Malone, My Perfect Body. You can see them cutting my arms off, which is the most dangerous operation they can do. Because, well, they cut me from there, you see, right down to there. So you're going, and then the breasts I had done, they were too big. So I went back and had them smaller. And the stomach was dangerous, the face. And so it was dangerous. I was advised by many surgeons, do not do these operations over 16 months. Back to back, 6 weeks, get ready for the next one. That's what I did.
Obviously, you need to recover, don't you? Because it's not that easy, is it?
Garlic and turmeric. That's how I do in your life every day. And I'm a Scouser. So, no painkillers. So,
let me ask Tina. So when you first went to inquire about the IVF and he turned around and said, you're this, you're that, you're this. Did that have a big effect on you?
No.
No, but did that think, well, wait, hang about, I'm not having this?
No, I understand the rules. I understand what...
No, did that give you the determination and drive?
Well, I had the determination and drive anyway. And I just think that when someone kind of tells me no, or that you won't prove that wrong, or you won't do that, and you're a little fish in a huge pond, I will kind of go, well, watch me turn into a big fish and I will ruffle your feathers. And also, I kind of think, if I want something within reason, it's like anything. I'm a bit of a maverick and a bit of a renegade in terms of, if I want to do something, I will do it. And I support anyone. I don't care if you're someone in a wheelchair on the street with half a leg and one tooth in your head who is homeless and maybe an addict. I will speak to you the same way I speak to my executives dining me in the Lanesborough or, the Ivy in London. I treat everybody the same. I believe everybody has a redeeming quality, and I believe everybody has something to bring to the table. It's just sourcing or finding what your gift is in whatever way. And, fundamentally, I'm a decent person, and I truly am. And not just because I'm a Catholic and a devout Catholic. I just think I'm a decent person. I'm morally, absolutely in every way opposed to fascism, nationalism. I hate racism and homophobia and misogyny in abundance. If I wasn't an actor, I would have been a politician. Probably would have been in and out, thrown out the House of Commons for using expletives and causing murder and mayhem. But I believe that, I am a decent person, and I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I will continue to do so. But if I want something and I want to work at it, and I'm prepared to work at it, you reap what you sow. Well, then why shouldn't I have it?
That drive of being successful and getting what you want, does that come, as you say, from your father when you're saying?
Yes, it's in you. It's absolutely in my blood. Cut me in half and I'm a Scouser, like a stick of rock, through and through. I believe we're an alien nation. I'm fiercely proud of being a Scouser. But if you're from Widnes or St. Helens and you go, oh, well, and I go, well, instead of kind of slagging me or saying I say this, or whether you're a man or whatever you are, why don't you kind of turn that inward and say, you love the fact you're from Birkenhead or Widnes. Be proud of your camel heads, or be proud of, your industry. Be proud of where you're from. I'm proud of being a Scouser. I don't want to be anything else. I think we are an alien nation. I think we do laugh in the face of adversity. But much like my personality, people either love me or hate me. And I quite like
You're
that.
okay with it? Yeah.
I quite like that. Because if people hate me, it's because they fear me or they envy me. And I quite like that. So if you love me and hate me, not everyone's going to like it. Why does everybody want to be liked? I've never been a people pleaser since I was 5. I don't want to be a people pleaser. I don't want millions of friends. I'm the one who says at the end of a 10-month tour of doing a show, when everyone goes, should we all swap numbers? And I send you a card and I go, well, why would I want to swap numbers with you? I've never fucking liked you. You don't like me. You don't like me. I know you don't because you bitched about me. So let's not pretend.
Ta-da.
I haven't got enough time. I haven't got enough time for the people I love and care about.
I was going to ask you your number after you.
So, it's that thing of I'm a realist.
Yeah.
And I don't care if people do or don't. I only care about kind of people knowing that I am a decent person and I'm a very caring person and I'm a humanitarian. But I don't do it for fishing, for compliments. I'm comfortable enough in my own skin that if I look in the mirror and go, you done good today, girl. Well, that's enough for me. I don't need my husband's validation or my parents or my siblings or my daughters. I know when I've done, or I can look in the mirror and go, you know what, you messed up there. Yeah. And you've done something, fix it, go back, deal with it or whatever. But I actually truly, and most people will sit around a table at a dinner party and say, oh, I don't care. But they do.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Bring it on Twitter, Facebook. If I'm in the mood, I may reply and then stir it up a bit. But if you call me a big, fat, ugly, loud-mouthed, skinny, ugly, wrinkly, horrible, disgusting bitch on Facebook or Twitter, fill your boots.
Yeah.
I truly don't care.
Do you get many haters on? I ignored them, mate.
I have done in the past.
Is it?
I have done. It does make me laugh. I love the ones. I've never had really that many, I hope you die. But I've had a lot of kind of, you should never have had a child. You should. And, I've had a couple of bad incidents, as you're probably aware, in the last couple of years. I was set up with drugs, which has been well documented. And, I went to do a panto. And in Barrow, it was about my 20th panto, and I did it. My daughter was 4, and it took me 12 months to recover from it. I was arrested. They found drugs in my bag.
You were arrested, was you?
Even the police said, who has drugs delivered with their name on? Tina Malone. And like Chrissy Rock said, how did you get drugs in?
Wait there, your name is written on it?
Yeah.
Was it like designed?
Well, it's a long story.
Your own brand.
It's a long story, but basically it turned out the producer wasn't a producer. The panto venue wasn't a theatre. It was a nightclub.
So they wanted an excuse to get out?
And so my bag was by the stage door. And all I know is the guy who was the executive producer got £47,000 off a certain newspaper. And I lost a big job in LA 4 days later. I was sacked from the panto on Christmas Eve. I was terrorised by certain press that I wouldn't even say the name of here. I ended up on This Morning and Loose Women and donated my fees to children's charities in Liverpool. And I didn't work for nearly 12 months. It was horrific.
Really?
I was devastated. With my 4-year-old daughter and my husband in the car driven to Barrow to get me, and the police, 2 big black Mariahs turned up outside the theatre to arrest me. And it's because in my autobiography, it obviously goes, I reflect in it on my drink and drugs days. There's nothing I haven't done, nothing I haven't seen, nothing I haven't experienced. But I was like, well, I had to be tested for drink and drugs and nicotine every 3 months during pre-fertility, during my fertility, and breastfeeding and everything else. And so, somebody stuck drugs in my bag, which was by the stage door, and then a certain scum newspaper printed on the front, which killed me because I had a drama school, Tina Malone's Drama Academy. Tina Malone walks around saying to all the kids, telling them to F off, and where's my little bag of fairy powder, and sitting by the stage door. Went on for weeks with a certain newspaper. Wow. And they destroyed my life.
How did you turn that into a positive?
And then after that, I just got over that, and then I'm sure you know about the James Bulger case. I was an ambassador. I don't want to go too much into it. I don't really understand Twitter and Facebook. I've only been on them 3 or 4 years, and I shared, like I share puppies.
Am I allowed to talk about it?
Probably.
If I say it?
But well, what happened was I shared a picture of somebody and ended up getting taken to the High Court of London with the biggest judge in the United States.
Because she shared an image.
do that. People say,
An
"Do
image
us a
of
favour,
somebody."
put that-"
No, it wasn't even that. It was just a retweet, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was just, we weren't like going exposing any. It was just a retweet. And because she retweeted it, and because she's a name, they fucking went for a big time.
Even though 2.9 million people have retweeted the same of somebody in the witness protection scheme, and I retweeted it, and I got taken to court by the Attorney General in this country, and rightly so, because it was a criminal offence that I
Did anything happen?
Yes,
Unknowingly?
I ended up with thousands and thousands of pounds in debt, and people all over this
Fucking
country
hell.
set up GoFundMe pages to help me pay off the 10 grand fine and the court costs, and I wasn't allowed to take that money either, so I have to pay my fees, my court
Oh, because you
fees
retweeted
still,
something?
even though and I got an 8-month prison sentence, suspended for 2 years. And if I hadn't have changed my plea last minute to guilty, I would have gone to prison there and then.
Oh
and
my
it's all
God.
right,
And
people
you think,
saying,
what's going on here?
if Tina Malone goes to prison, thousands and thousands and thousands of people said, if Tina Malone goes to prison, there'll be riots in Liverpool. But I did something illegal, criminal, and so I've paid the price.
Were you just thinking about it? Retweet?
It went all over the world. It went global, to America, to everywhere, what I did. I didn't consider what I was doing at the time was wrong.
Yeah.
But I was...
Because everyone else was doing it.
I was putting somebody's life in danger, even though obviously they were a murderer and a paedophile. I have no right to do that. Yeah. It was a criminal offence. It was illegal. I wish I'd never done it. I shouldn't have done it. And it was
That's how we see things as Scousers, though, isn't it?
It was horrendous time. And be very careful what you say, because I'm not allowed really to comment on it above that. But I was an ambassador for Denise and Stu on the James Bulger Trust. I raised a lot of money for them over the years, and then they were really supportive. But obviously they had to take a step back, and I resigned from the board because I was an embarrassment, really.
That must hurt, that. Bloody hell.
And then a couple of other charities that I was an ambassador for dropped me.
Does that make you feel resentful, lad? Now you don't want me because you were all right taking my help when...
No, not with Denise and Stu, but certain other charities didn't want to any longer.
It's understandable why you'd leave that one.
How do you flip everything from being in this dark place because of what's going on to...
Well,
now
I'm
being
bipolar as well. I was diagnosed with bipolar at the age of 28, manic depressive. So it's a long time ago, before everybody in the world now. A lot of people have bipolar now.
Yeah.
But when I was diagnosed with it 40 years ago,
that was
but 32 years ago I was diagnosed with it. Nobody had it. Nobody had heard of it.
Can I ask you?
And so, I think creatives generally and intelligent people generally suffer with depression, but I think it's the biggest pandemic we've ever had. And I think the youth of today, God help them, the pressure of progression and of life in this day and age causes a lot of depression. And we keep saying talk and share, but very often people don't want to listen.
Don't listen.
You've lived your life like this, Tina.
Yeah.
And you see people living a life like this, little bumps in the road. Would you change anything?
No.
Neither would I.
Never.
Are you grateful for all that?
I've had 100 grand in the bank, and then I've had to go to someone lends a tenner for ciggies.
Are you grateful for all these bad experiences that have happened?
God, yeah, it makes you what you are.
It creates a character, doesn't it?
If you look at, everyone from Lord Byron to John Lennon to Beethoven, they were all slightly nuts, and they all had bad times, and they all had addictions, and they all had crutches, and they all had madness, and I think I've learnt to embrace my depression. I have certain things. I'm a mentor now as well, and I do private life coaching, and I life coach people from GPs to gangsters. You would be absolutely shocked I do a pop star. I do certain people. I mentor them privately, now on Zoom, obviously. And I do kind of pro empowerment for Abbott's group training. I do confidence building, social skills. And I also have a drama school that ages from range 4 to 98 in Liverpool. I set that back up again. And I've got people into RADA Central, people who come to me at the age of 40, 50, 60 and said, I've always wanted to be an actor. I'm divorced. My wife's run away with the milkman. My kids are grown up in uni. I've found myself in a bedsit. I'm working for the council. And I've gone, okay, let's see what you've got. I've trained them up and they've ended up with a lead role at the Everyman Theatre or a lead role in a BBC drama. And that's what I've done.
Unbelievable, Tina. Do you find that because the highs are higher, the lows are lower with being successful? Yeah.
That's an interesting one. You know, as a boxer, you know, you have to keep your eye on the ball, don't you?
Yeah, I can be on Sky Sports on a Friday night, Monday morning, I'm sitting on the edge in bed, my head in my hands, thinking, what now? It's
I don't know whether you saw Tony Bellew in that thing, the Ant Middleton thing.
Yeah, SAS, yeah.
And I thought he was incredibly candid and open. And I've met a lot of boxers and sports people who I won't name, but from Formula One to boxing, who you would be astonished at how they've opened to me. But I've been in a room with some of the biggest names in showbiz in the world. And within 3 or 4 hours, they've opened up to me and gone, oh my God, you have a canny ability to make me talk about. And I do have that in abundance.
Yeah. It's probably because you're so transparent, though.
Yeah.
And then people tend to, if you show your ass, people are more likely to show their ass.
And it's like anything, isn't it? I mean, you know, when I'm coaching people or mentoring them or teaching them, you tell me what it is you want in 8 weeks or 16 weeks with private tuition. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to work on enunciation, articulation, you know, linguistics? Do you want to do accents? Do you want to do kind of Shakespeare, Brecht, Beckett? Or do you want to do social skills and confidence building and see acting together?
Yeah.
I cover the whole, because very often drama teachers are people who never quite cracked it, as talented as they may be. Whereas I have cracked it and I'm still doing it. So when I teach you, I know what's right because I've been there and done it. So, you know, I have an uncanny ability of being able to really pick from the word go, from Prime Suspect to Dinner Ladies to whatever. This is a goer. This is gonna work. To go, well, I've got the script and it's a BBC or it's a Channel 4 thing. I'm a bit dodgy about that. But I need money. I've got to feed the kids. No, I'll throw that away and shoplift.
Is that an intuition thing?
So, do you know what I mean?
Is that an intuition thing? Is it?
Yeah, it is. And I think, I think tuition, it's a natural thing. And I'm very perceptive. But don't get me wrong. Even at my age, I can still make mistakes.
Yeah,
I can still read the wrong person, which happened to me a few years ago with friends. And I just kind of think you have to give in life what you're able to. And you have to be honest with yourself. And if you can't be honest with yourself and look yourself in the mirror and say, well, I've been selfish or stupid or manipulative or sly, I can honestly say of all the mistakes I've ever done in my life, I've never robbed anyone. I've never intentionally hurt anyone. And I've never been anything other than decent. And sometimes it's got me into trouble because I'm honest and genuine and authentic. But I don't pretend to be anything other than I am. And if you don't like me for that, who gives a shit?
It's their problem.
I seriously don't give a rat's arse. It's a shame if I like you and you go, I don't like you. Well, never mind. But there's always somebody else. But I believe in kind of sharing whatever it is you have to give and offer, because I believe I'm so confident in my ability and my strengths that why are you competition to me? Nobody's competition to me. Nobody. Because we're all unique, aren't we?
Love it.
One thing you said there, Tina, before we move off this topic, you said about somebody comes to you and you say, well, in 8 weeks, you said that. How important is a time frame on a goal, in your opinion?
I do sessions or 8 weeks and 16 weeks, an hour a week. And I believe in those 8 weeks or 16 weeks, I'll change your life.
you think you have to put a time frame on a goal to bring it into existence?
Because some of us take, you could be the tortoise and you're going to get there.
Yeah,
or you could be the fox and you'll get there quicker. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily mean the tortoise is slow and lazy, and it doesn't necessarily mean the fox is always cunning and sly. It's just the way it is, isn't it? You can run faster than me, you can run faster than me. Whether we both weigh the same, we're both the same height, same size, that's the way it is.
Hasn't this been interesting?
It does.
There's a lot of depth to you, Tina. It's like you can tell you've learned a lot, and you've had to learn a lot. And I think
I've had to survive.
Yeah. And then if you can pass that on, because I think that, because I've had, I'm not a victim in any way, but I've had shit. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, I'm grateful for every drop of it, because I've got 3 daughters there. So when they come to me when they're older, or I can recognise something's going on in their life, I can then turn around and go, and I can give them my advice, because I've gone through the pain for them.
Yeah.
And at least I've got that. And it sounds similar to what you've been through, because I can, a lot of what you're saying, it resonates with me.
It's that thing of, I think that, at the end of the day, we all need to make a living. We all need to pay the bills, and we all need to support our families and everything. But like I always say, and I use that cliche, if you can look yourself in the mirror and say, well, I helped as much as I could, or I did my best, well, that's all you can do, isn't it? I mean, even when I was a big fat, and I say ugly because I've never been a looker. My mother is and my daughters are, thank God, it jumped a generation. But even thin, I've never been a looker. I've always kind of, I'm not one of those where people said, oh, don't lose the weight, you'll lose your personality. Why have I got a fat personality? I'm funny when I'm funny.
You were well funny when you were fat. People say that to me.
Yeah. I'm a funny fucker, whether I'm fat or thin. Whether I look good or look like shite, I'm funny. I'm funny asleep. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to be a big fat bear to be fucking funny.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have to wear a sumo suit for the rest of my time. But I believe you should just embrace whatever it is you have to give. And I believe if you care, I believe it comes back to you. And you should be decent. But I also believe that, like I said, most people will say to you, they think they're special. And I do think I'm special. But I'm not going to you. You're not, and you're not, and you're not. I'm saying to you, I'm special.
Yeah.
And I can give you some things that nobody else can give you. And if you think there's something wrong with that, well, that's your issue, not mine. Because you could go to me, well, I could give you some things. And I'd go, oh, okay, then show me, tell me, whatever. But I believe that I can change your life and your mindset in 8 weeks, 16 weeks. You pay me and I'll do an hour a week with you and I'll change your life. And I have done. I have done to probably over 300 people. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Is there any way people in this who can reach out to you if they're looking for this help and support?
Okay, if anybody needs to get in touch with me, you can get me on Tina Malone 23 on Twitter, or private message me. I'm publicly on Facebook, Tina Malone. I'm publicly there. Private message me. I get a lot of losers and I get a lot of, people, time wasters who just want to bullshit me and talk to me. You know what I mean? But I can usually suss them out. But if you want mentoring or guiding or teaching, and it's never too late to start something. I don't care if you're 50, 60, 70, 80. If you want to start knitting or ice skating or acting or performing or something that's been in you for years, the same as you said before, if I get to 60 and go, I fancy having a go at boxing actually. Yeah. I'm going to go down Scotty and find the rotunda, Cindy do women's, but I'll do it. If I want to, I'll do it. No one's going to tell me I can't. And so that's how I am. Do you know what I mean?
We have to speak about Shameless. What was your experience like on Shameless? And tell us about Frank.
It was just incredible. I mean, those to be described in a national newspaper as Tony Soprano in a frock was just the best. And obviously the accolades and the nominations and the awards. And did you know, little fact, we are the only ever drama in the history of television, by the way, with all our awards, to win a BAFTA 1 year as Best Drama and another year as Best Comedy.
Really, yeah?
So, No one else has ever done that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I could talk to you all day about film and TV. I've got over 4,000 films. There's nothing I don't like. I like the usual Tarantino, you know, Scorsese, they are gods. But I like kind of dreary, depressing, subtitled European movies. I'm not a Tom Cruise, Bruce Willis fan. But as an actor, to get a part like Mimi was incredible because those women, fat or thin, Scouse or Glaswegian, are on every estate, every street in the land.
Yeah, we related to Shameless, didn't we?
Yeah.
Related to.
And, you know, I played a big fat Scouse bird, matriarch, married to a big Belfast man with 7 sons and 1 daughter who went through tragedy. But you see, the beauty of Shameless, being written and created by Paul Abbott, George Faber, Charlie Pattinson. I mean, you know, they created everything from Our Friends in the North. They discovered Chris Eccleston, Daniel Craig, to me, if you like. To have that, the beauty of working for Paul Abbott, George Faber and Charlie Pattinson was just a dream. And if Paul Abbott had always been a god to me, from his Corrie days to Cracker, you know, to Hillsborough, to everything he's ever done with Jimmy McGovern and everyone. He has, even though he's a Manc, he has an affinity with Liverpool.
Yeah.
And to work with him was a dream. And I only went in for 2 eps originally.
Did you? Yeah, you only went for 2 eps?
Yeah.
No way.
And it was one of those programmes you watch on the telly. And I watched the first series and went, I have to do that.
Did you I'm getting a part in this? Or
well, no, they approached me, obviously. But it was a dream. It changed my life financially, physically, my profile. Going from being a fat bird to thin bird is attractive to the press and to celebrity shows. So I made a lot of money. And I gave a lot of money away. And I was stupid with a lot of money, but I was, you know, but I was sensible as well. But it was an incredible experience. Great team of actors. David Threlfall is just a god who played Frank. What's funny is everywhere I go, people go, are you one of us? You like, you know? And actually I am. But I was educated in a grammar school. I went to college and everything. So I'm not Mimi. I'm nothing like Mimi. So it's a testament to my ability as an actor, I think, that I could play someone. But I know people who live like that. And I know women like that. And in their own world, they are incredibly powerful, strong women. But as graphic as Shameless was, and a lot of people watched it for, you know, the comedy, the filth, the expletives, and the funny stories. But it was absolutely Jacobean because the depth and poignancy of the stories, whatever class you are, everybody's gone through abortion, affairs, miscarriage, prison, depression, hiding their sexuality, confronting childhood abuse. We covered everything you could go through. So the subtext was phenomenal. We had a creative team of directors and writers, you know, from Liverpool's Tom Higgins to Kevin and Darren Fairhurst and a few who were just mind-blowing writers. And then you, Sarah Hooper from Manchester, and just great writers, great directors, incredible. And so it was a great team, but it is a team. It's not just cast. It's always the crew and the writers and the producers and directors. You have to get it all right. You can't just have a star or stars. But it was a joy to do. And I pray God that one day, I mean, I played Marnie Sweet with the great Jake Abraham as my husband at the National Theatre for 10 months in the wonderful Jonathan Harvey play, Guiding Star. And I did Phil Redmond's incredible Brookside. Oh, gosh, sorry.
It's all right.
Oh, it's my agent.
Go on, answer.
Shall I take it? Hi. Do you know what? This is so funny. I'm in the middle of doing a podcast, right? And I've just said it's my agent. And people always lie, don't they, and say it's my agent. But actually, I just hold on. I've got things in the pipeline.
Hi, Jason.
But how do you know what my Jason?
Because it come up on your phone.
Oh, right. Sorry, Jay. Do you want me, love? Tell me I've got a job or you've got an interview for me.
Good.
Go on. You got a little job for me?
Hey!
Go on. Yeah.
This is all good content, this, you know.
Okay.
Jason.
Okay. Next couple of hours, yeah, definitely. Okay, call me back in 15 minutes. Is that okay? What's the fee? Perfect. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll do it. All right. See you later. So call me in 15. Bye. Oh, well, maybe you brought me a bit of luck. But anyway, it wasn't...
Congratulations, Sarah.
Sadly, it wasn't Russell T Davies telling me I'm a new Dalek doctor, which I'd love to do. You know, don't get me wrong. I watch Call the Midwife. I've just watched Bridgerton. And I look at those things and wish I'd love to be in Call the Midwife. I'd love to be in Downton, Bridgerton. I've worked with Pete Postlethwaite, Kathy Burke, Ray Winston. I've worked with some of the greatest actors. And Tom Hooper, who's won, you know, I did Samantha Morton with, you know, Lindsay Duncan and Jim Broadbent. I mean, these are gods.
Yeah.
And I've worked alongside them and with them. And so I've been very blessed.
It sounds like you've had an interesting life, Tina.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so.
I wouldn't even be able to say to you, but I partied from New York.
We'll do that in the after hours one.
Welcome
back.
I've partied in New York to Glasgow and with people that would shock you. But, you know, it's an interesting life. But you've got to hit the ground running, I think, in our industry. But like anything, you'll get out of something what you put in.
Yeah. I think a lot of people sit around and wait and moan. You can't do that.
They're not going to, even with all my awards and nominations, and I'm a nominated British actress, and, you know, not by some readers, by proper people, establishments, BAFTAs, RTS and National Television and all that stuff. But at the same time, I can't rest on my laurels. And I don't mean because of my age or my size or my Scousism, if you like, but because, you know, Scorsese ain't knocking my door down. And so I've just got to keep going and grafting. And I will. I always will. And, you know, the likes of Colin McEwen in this city, who, you know, from LA Productions and created everything from Clink to Moving On, 13 years going on. I mean, he kind of saved my life after I went through that bad time. And there's always saviours. There's always angels, and he's a guardian angel. He just is. I mean, there was no reason. The guys employed people from Tim Roth, Sheridan Smith to
Sean Bean, a lot.
Sean Bean, to everyone, and he saved my life 2 years ago. But you pick yourself up and you dust yourself down and you get on.
Come on, let's be honest, Chase. We had a bit of a technical issue there. Let's just be transparent. And the police just come in because there's been rumours Jazz has been going into Morrison's without a mask on, coughing on pensioners, saying saved your life. Sorry, Jazz.
If the cameras...
Nah, but just as Tina was giving me a really nice compliment as well.
I was just...
How good you was, really?
Yeah, I do think, you know, and I'm not blowing smoke because, trust me...
I just feel bad that you're doing it again.
If I thought you were shit, I'd say that. So I'm not blowing smoke. I do think...
I appreciate it,
something you stick out.
You said about how he was diverse as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I do think, you know... Well, you've lost all that weight, haven't you? So
I'll put it back on.
Fat, funny Scouse guy. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
You wear it anyway, but cash in on whatever you can. And good luck with your boxing.
Thank you, Tina.
And I hope I'm invited.
Yes, you are.
And to your next fight. And good luck with it. Keep on with it. Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you, Famalam.
Famalam. Famalam. Can't even get that right.
Next week on the How Are We Famalam podcast, we speak to Lawrence Kenwright.
And as these people are coming in, they're lying full bodies on the radiators. I mean, literally, and they won't move. I'm going, what's going on? This can't be right. 18 the first day, 30, 40, we had 65, and then one day we had 84.
Faster Car Finance provide a smooth, hassle-free way for you to apply for car finance and to get the vehicle of your choice. Whether you have good or bad credit, no deposit is required. A decision is reached within minutes, and one of our dedicated finance advisors will be available to discuss your requirements. Apply now at www.fastercarfinance.co.uk.